There's a battlefield we walk through every day, though most of us never even notice it. It's not fought with swords or shields, but with words, gestures, silences, and smiles. It's the quiet manipulation, the unseen force that seeks not to control our actions, but to conquer our minds. For years, I didn't see it. I just knew something inside me felt, let's say, off. A deep misalignment I couldn't explain. Then I found Stoicism, not just as a philosophy, but as a lifeline. The Stoics taught me a truth so simple, yet so powerful. No one can control your mind unless you hand them the keys. And once I saw clearly, I understood. Manipulation thrives in the fog. Stoicism gave me the light to see through it. In this video, I want to share with you, not theories, but hard-earned lessons, 6 forms of manipulation, and how the wisdom of the Stoics can help you recognize and resist them. So join me. Because awareness isn't just protection, it's liberation. 1. Gaslighting. When the war is inside your own head. This is one of the cruelest forms of manipulation because it doesn't just lie to you, it makes you lie to yourself. I've had moments where I replayed conversations in my mind, convinced I must have imagined things. That never happened, they'd say. You're too sensitive. You always twist things. At first I believed them, but then I came across Marcus Aurelius's words. If someone can prove me wrong and show me my mistake in any thought or action, I shall gladly change. It is the truth I seek, and the truth never harmed anyone. That line hit me like thunder. I realized that truth can withstand scrutiny, but manipulation can't. A manipulator doesn't want clarity, they want confusion. They want to shift your foundation so that you can't stand without leaning on them. So I started testing what I believed, writing things down, keeping a journal, observing without reacting, and slowly I reclaimed my trust in my own perception. Epictetus reminds us, don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do happen, and you will go on well. In other words, don't resist reality. Don't let others reshape it to fit their agenda. Trust what you know. Trust your reason. 2. Guilt tripping. When they weaponize your conscience. Guilt can be a powerful motivator, but when it's imposed by someone else to make you bend to their will, it becomes a chain. I've had people make me feel like saying no meant I was a bad person, that choosing myself meant I was selfish. After all I've done for you, those words can haunt you. But Stoicism teaches that we are responsible for our actions, not for how others interpret them. Seneca wrote, "A good character, when established, becomes a shield against slander and ill will." I realized that if I acted from virtue, if I was honest, just and fair, then someone using guilt against me wasn't exposing my flaws. They were exposing their desire to control. Stoics practiced sympathia, the idea that we are all connected, but they never said we are all responsible for each other's emotions. That's where I drew the line. I am responsible for how I treat others, not for how they twist my decisions into offenses. I began to repeat to myself, let them think what they will. I am guided by reason, not by guilt. And with each repetition, the chains loosened. 3. Love bombing. There's absolutely nothing wrong with love, I will be honest with you, but not all love is sincere. I've experienced what people call love bombing, sudden, overwhelming affection that seems too good to be true. At first, it felt like I had finally found someone who saw me, appreciated me, lifted me up. But soon the affection came with strings, expectations, control. Suddenly, I was responsible for maintaining their illusion of me. And if I ever questioned things or pulled back, the warmth disappeared. Stoicism warns against pleasure that comes with a price. Epictetus taught that the flourishing life is not one filled with pleasure, but one grounded in virtue. And when someone loves you for how you make them feel, not for who you truly are, that isn't virtue, that's ego in disguise. The Stoics trained themselves to take praise and criticism the same way, with detachment. Whether someone showers you with compliments or attacks you with judgment, neither should alter your internal compass. That compass must be built from reason, not emotion. I started to see that sincere love is steady. It doesn't demand. It doesn't try to own. And once I stopped chasing validation, I saw love bombing for what it was, manipulation wrapped in flowers. 4. Silent treatment, when absence speaks louder than words. This one hurt the most. There's a kind of manipulation that doesn't speak at all. The silent treatment. Withdrawal of affection, eye contact, attention. At first, I thought they were just hurt, so I tried harder, apologized more, compromised until I disappeared. But then I realized this wasn't communication. It was punishment, a way to make me chase them, to make me feel abandoned for having a voice. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." And I finally understood. I don't need to beg for someone's attention to prove my worth. If silence is their weapon, peace must be my shield. The Stoics believed in apatheia, not apathy but freedom from unhealthy passions. I practiced silence in return, not to punish, but to center myself, to listen inwardly, and in that silence, I found power. Eventually, I stopped fearing the silent treatment. I embraced it, because it revealed more than any words could, who they were and what I deserved. 5. Playing the victim, when accountability becomes a game. This one is subtle. People who constantly portray themselves as the victim, even when they are the cause of pain, use this as a manipulation tool. It's a way to deflect accountability and make you the villain for having boundaries. I've been in relationships, personal and professional, where every time I brought up a valid concern, the other person cried louder. Somehow, I ended up apologizing for bringing up my pain. But as there's something interesting Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. True victims don't need to prove it. They don't need to manipulate your empathy. The Stoics would say that suffering is part of life, but it is not an excuse for unjust behavior. And when someone weaponizes their suffering to excuse abuse, they are no longer in pursuit of virtue. They are pursuing control. I began to hold space for empathy, but not at the cost of reason. I could care about someone's past without excusing their present behavior. And when they tried to make me feel guilty for having needs, I remembered their story is not my burden. 6. Flattery, when sweet words are a bitter trap. Flattery feels good, especially when you're starving for approval. There was a time I'd believe anyone who told me I was talented, wise, attractive. I didn't realize that some compliments are currency, and I was being bought. Seneca warned, "It is better to conquer our grief than to deceive it." And I learned that flattery often feeds the very ego we're meant to discipline. The Stoics taught humility, not self-loathing, but accurate self-assessment. And once I started seeing myself clearly, both strengths and weaknesses, flattery lost its spell. I started noticing the difference between genuine praise, which uplifts quietly, and manipulative flattery, which puffs up to take something in return. The Stoics avoided both extreme criticism and excessive praise. They aimed for truth. So now, when someone flatters me, I pause. I ask, why are they saying this? What do they want? And what do I know to be true about myself without needing their approval? That self-awareness has saved me more times than I can count. You can trust me on this. All 6 of these manipulations share one thing in common. They thrive when we abandon our reason, when we hand over the keys to our mind in exchange for comfort, approval, or connection. But Stoicism teaches the opposite. It tells us that true freedom lies in mastering ourselves, not others. That the highest good is not being liked, but being just. That peace doesn't come from avoiding discomfort, but from facing truth. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, "You could leave life right now." Let that determine what you do and say and think. In other words, life is too short to be controlled by people who seek to confuse, guilt, or flatter us into submission. So we must return, again and again, to our inner citadel. The part of us no one can touch unless we let them, the place guarded by wisdom, virtue, and truth. And when manipulation comes, as it always will, we face it not with fear, but with calm. We see it, name it, and let it pass. If you have found this video useful, please subscribe and leave a comment below.